we are here with two of the Season 9 team. We have Jeanty and Christos Gage. So there's been a lot of big announcements this weekend at WonderCon about Season 9. How long have you been sitting on these?
I don't know. I've been, well, ever since Season 8, really, because Joss and Scott were like, so are you coming back? Are you coming back or what? What are you doing? And it wasn't probably until January that I said I would, so every 2 months.
So you were playing hard to get, is what you're saying?
Well, isn't that what we do, you know, when your contract comes up, you know, you play hard to get, hoping they still want you, and, you know, you still want to dance with the same girl.
Well, I'm totally the opposite. I whore myself out. I'm like...
This panel is brought to you by TFAW.com. Visit TFAW.com today and use the code WONDER at checkout to save $5 on your next purchase of $20 or more. TFAW.com.
Scott approached me at C2E2 last year, I can't remember, 2010. And that's when he first mentioned it to me. And the timing was good because it was shortly thereafter Marvel approached me about going exclusive, but they were cool with me, you know, carving out the Angel book because you know, they have a great relationship with Joss, and it's not really competitive. They don't have a similar book, so it worked out great.
Now, Georges, you're a veteran of the very enthusiastic Lean fans. Do you have any advice for Christos as he goes forward?
Not so much maybe Christos, but I was talking to Rebecca yesterday, and I was just telling her, here, this is what you're going to need to know, this is what you're going to need to do. But have you dealt with the fans at all? Or
it's just a little bit so far, but, you know, they can't be any more rabid than comic book fans. And in this case, I had already told Joss I'm going to blame everything on him, so...
I will say they are a lot more passionate, probably, and maybe a little bit cuter. Because Joss's fan base, for some reason, is maybe 60% women, which I had no clue coming into, and I was like, wow, where are all these girls coming from? Are your boyfriends somewhere or something like that? No, we're here for Buffy. We love Buffy. Oh my God.
I'm married, so that has no...
no, not that it does with me either.
Yeah,
it just it was a nice little turnabout from
it's true, actually, and I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm hoping that, you know, I've had some people already say, hey, I checked out Avengers Academy and I really dug it. You know, they look at your other work, because the Buffy fans, I've talked to retailers about this and say Buffy fans, much like G.I. Joe fans, that's like sometimes the only comic they read, but then sometimes they use it as like a gateway comic to get them into other comics.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, nobody's read anything else that I've done. They just want
American
Buffy,
Way
and
is
that's
fantastic.
Well, Christos, I mean, with Avengers Academy, you had to deal with Hank Pym.
Yes.
Who's a character who's had a murky history. He's made mistakes. He needs redemption, much like Angel. So are you going to use that experience with the Angel book?
Yeah, I mean, Angel's his own guy, you know, but I like characters who are seeking redemption. I think it makes them very interesting. And, you know, I can relate to it because I've made mistakes myself in the past. I mean, we all have. You know, I'm not saying I've, like, snapped anyone's neck. Don't get me wrong. There is no, you know, there are no bodies buried with my name on it. But, you know, I mean, in terms of, you know, none of us are perfect. So I can relate to it, and I think, you know, I'm trying to figure out what I can and can't say. But in the first issue, we're going to deal with a lot of, you know, what was he thinking is Twilight. You know, obviously when he killed spoiler, when he killed Giles, he was possessed, but he wasn't possessed the whole time. He was Twilight. What the hell was he thinking, you know? But it all ties in with everything that had happened to him in the past.
Now, Faith spent a lot of Season 8 with Giles, you know, working as a team. So how is it that she can deal with Angel right now when after killing Giles, when the rest of the Scoobies are like, no, get him out of here, we don't even want to look at him?
Faith can deal with Angel because he didn't give up on her in her darkest days, and so she's not going to give up on him. I mean, in large part, Faith is... I was talking to Scott about this, Scott Alley, and I think Faith has probably matured more than any of the Buffy characters. You know, I said possibly Xander, but she started off in a worse place than him, and she's really probably in the most positive space of all of them starting Season 9. And Angel's the guy who got her there. He got her through the tough moments, the long dark nights of the soul. And, you know, so she's not going to give up on him. Yeah, I mean, what's your take on
Yeah, no,
on
I
that?
thought it was very eloquently said. Joss wrote the last issue. Faith was saying, I'm all about redemption when asked about Angel. And I thought that was very poetic on her part. She's obviously a woman of very few words. And she's very, I think, cause-oriented.
Yes.
Give her a task, she'll do it. And I think she's taken to Angel.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's in the future, but I always thought she was kind of attracted to him too, a little bit.
Gee, I don't know. I hadn't thought of that. Of course, we have thought of that, but we're keeping everything under wrap. And I will say that Faith has some bodies in her past as well.
Yeah.
So
she's got some skeletons
she's
in
hardly
her closet.
innocent. So
And now she's a millionaire, so
that's right.
It should be interesting to see how she fares.
That's right.
And they're going to be in London, right?
They're going to be in London. I mean, not to say that they'll stay in London the entire time, but yeah, the setting is London, which I think is very cool. Very moody setting. I mean, Joss wanted a sort of supernatural noir type of feel for it, and they may travel elsewhere, but that's going to be their home base.
Did you ever mention like a Torchwood feel type of a thing, or was that never?
I'm going to let myself in for some, beatings here, but I haven't seen Torchwood.
Oh,
I don't know.
Okay.
He referred. Joss talks to me about comics, and he was like, yeah, kind of Warren Ellis, John Constantine, that type of stuff.
Okay, cool.
Well, George, they've been all about saying how season 9 is going to be more like human-sized, and they've moved it to
instead of the Happy Meal that it was before. What does that mean?
Instead of like a big global.
Right.
gods and
Yeah.
monsters,
Okay. Yeah.
It's going to be. They've moved to San Francisco. It looks like they're cutting the cast down to a smaller group. A historic moment, people. So I mean, what's it like for you? Are you going to miss drawing like the big Tibetan goddesses?
No. I always loved, and whenever Joss and I talked about a script, it was always like I love the human element. I would speak to him more as a fan than an artist and say I love just reading, the go-between between Xander and Willow or whomever they've got. And I always said, you could do a whole issue with them just sitting and talking, and I guarantee you the fans would love it just as much as any big action, blow explosion sequence.
Can you give us any hints of anything fun you've gotten to draw or anything that's different?
No. Well, I know Willow has a new haircut, so that's fun and different.
We made news here today, folks. No, we probably did.
She cut her hair. Woo.
Well, and I'm sure you've been studying up on the San Francisco landmarks.
That's partly why I'm here. I'm going to be taking some time and just taking photographs while I'm here to better acquaint myself to the San Francisco locale.
Well, Buffy's come to San Francisco. Now the X-Men have come to San Francisco. What do you think it is that's drawing these super people
and
to the city?
200 or 300 years, Starfleet Academy gets established here? This is such a rocking place to be.
Yeah, do you think we can have a Buffy X-Men crossover? I mean, Joss did write, Astonishing X-Men
Wow.
for a bit. Or cameos,
you kidding? I would love to have Kitty Pryde come over and say, hey, what are you doing? You're taking me.
Nice. Well, how much of season 9 have each of you completed right now?
Modesty prevents me from saying anything because it's really sad how much I haven't done yet.
I've written the first issue, and that's it. But we've talked long term. We had the writers had a Buffyverse summit at Joss's house back in January, I want to say, and we talked about a lot of different stuff. None of which I can discuss.
Well, you've been counseling Rebecca. You're going to be working with Rebecca. What do you guys think? How is she going to fit into the season 9 mold?
It's one of those sink or swim things. She won't know until the first issue comes out, and everybody has an opinion, all good, all bad, whatever, but I think she'll learn a lot right after that first issue comes out.
I have to say, seeing her draw the sketches on the fly of Angel and Faith yesterday, I think she's done a good job with that.
She's got the street cred, definitely. It's dealing with the fans, which is a good 40% of this business.
Well, I'll say this about Rebecca: her demon designs are fantastic. I mean, I told her I'm not going to attempt to describe the demons anymore. I'm just going to be like, you go design the demons because they're excellent. And what she does really well is she designs demons you couldn't have done in the show, but you can only do in comics. Really cool out there stuff.
Yeah, she's good. She's good.
And Georges, you're going to be working with Andrew Chambliss. Have you worked with him? Have you met him or interacted with him
No,
at all?
we've emailed a couple of times, but no, never. I hope to as we get in, because Joss is actually writing the first issue. So as we get more into the subsequent issues, I hope to really connect and hopefully form a bond that we can just go on when Joss isn't around.
Well, have you guys been having a good time at WonderCon?
Yes.
I have. It's very nice. I've been sitting here the whole time, so I actually haven't seen any of WonderCon.
I had a good time. I've been doing a lot of interviews for the Captain America video game, so I've also been confined to a booth, but I have been having a very good time.
Excellent.
The fans are great.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate your Brought to you by Tfaw.com, the world's best online retailer of comics and collectibles. Whatever you're into, we've got just the thing for your collection.